According to a fact sheet found from World Health Organization that was recently reviewed in June 2016, the number of people with diabetes has risen from 108 million in 1980 to 422 million in 2014. That's practically tripled the number. Diabetes is a major cause of blindness, kidney failure, heart attack, stroke, and lower limb amputations. It's very important to keep this in mind not only as a teacher, but as an advocate to students and their families, as well as your own family. You want to be able to tell them that the most important thing to do to any disability or any medical condition is early detection. In 2012, an estimate of 1.5 million deaths were directly caused by diabetes, and another 2.2 million deaths were attributed to high blood glucose. The World Health Organization has actually predicted that in 2030, the seventh leading cause will be related to diabetes. Although diabetes does not have a cure, it can be treated with a healthy diet, regular physical activity, maintaining a normal body weight, avoiding tobacco use, and regular screenings and treatment. According to our textbook on page 307, diabetes is the loss of the ability of the pancreas to produce enough insulin, resulting in problems with sugar metabolism. Healthcare needs include the monitoring of blood sugar levels, providing appropriate diet and exercise regimens, and having a knowledgeable response for insulin reactions. There are actually two types of categories of compromising health disabilities, which is chronic illness and infection disease. But overall, you can simplify diabetes as excessively high or excessively low, uncontrollable sugar levels. It's important to know and understand the true meaning of any disability that a teacher will encounter in his or her classroom. There are 13 disability categories under the Individual Disability Education Act, also known as IDEA, in which diabetes would fall under other health impairments. According to the federal government on page 302 in our textbook, other health impairments mean having limited strength, vitality, or alertness, including a heightened alertness to environmental stimuli that results in limited alertness with respect to the educational environment that is due to chronic or acute health problems such as asthma, attention deficit disorder, or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, diabetes, epilepsy, heart condition, hemophilia, lead poisoning, leukemia, nephritis, neuromatic fever, and sickle cell anemia, and it must adversely affect a child's educational performance. For the most part, the definition of any disability should be quite similar to the federal, but it's always good to double check the state that you're working for. For the state of New Jersey, diabetes still falls under other health impairments, and for the most part, the definition again is quite similar to the federal. The only difference that I noticed was that it mentioned a little bit more disorders such as tuberculosis, leukemia, 73 diabetes, or any other medical conditions such as Tourette's, and a medical assessment documenting the health problem is required in the state of New Jersey. Characteristics for diabetes: cognitive, disorganized in thoughts at times, drowsiness, headaches, and social and emotional. They kind of tie in together because they may or may not want to socialize because of the mood changes that they have. That specifically occurs in hypoglycemia, which is also known as low blood sugar, as you can see on the picture on your right. Characteristics continued for physical: sweating, trembling, hunger, blurred vision, dry mouth, extreme thirst, frequent urination, frequent bedwetting, stomach pains, fatigue, and paleness are often common in hyperglycemia, which is also known as high blood sugar. Strengths and challenges for diabetics. Pros can include, due to the persistent healthy diet and exercise, you can expect good weight management due to fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean sources of protein, and low-fat dairy. And some cons, because of the diet requires you to practice portion control, meaning you eat the same amount of food at the same time every day, it can get a little complicated due to the carbohydrate count that you need to keep monitoring yourself.
Check the blood blood sugar, you have to have all this equipment. You have the machine, you have your strip, you have your lancet, and you have the testing solution. This is the low and the high. You have to check your machine with this solution at least once a week, and it has a parameter for high and low on the strip itself. So if your machine falls off the low control or the high control, that means you have to change the battery or something wrong with the machine. Okay, check the sugar. You have to clean the finger first of your patient with alcohol or and let it dry. This is the lancet.
Ganda naman ng lancet na yan, maliit. Hindi na kung ano wala.
Okay, you gotta turn on your machine. You gotta put your strip. Then it says there's some signal that you put the blood. The first blood you have to discard, clean it, and then because sometimes it's the dirty blood. That's what I said. Put it on the side. Check it on the side. Okay, just wipe it. Just get the signal. Only a little bit of blood, and then you wait. Okay, her sugar is 185. Usually you do the blood sugar check early morning when the patient is fasting. But it depends on your sugar. If it's needs to be checked 3 times a day, or if it's uncontrolled. So she had dinner with this, but it's still not too bad. It's 185, but it's above the normal range. Usually the normal is from 60 to 110, but depends on the laboratory or the hospital. My mom who's 80 years old, is gonna be 80 years old next year. She's type 2 diabetic, and her sugar is being controlled with medication which is called glimepiride, 4 milligrams. She takes this twice a day, in the morning and in the afternoon. But she has to check her blood sugar in the morning and also in the afternoon. Some people, if it's their sugar is cannot be controlled with the pills, they usually have the insulin. This is the needle they use for the insulin. It depends on the doctor's parameter, how much insulin they're gonna give it to themselves. Depends on their blood sugar too. Usually it starts to 2 units, or and then it's given, it's subcutaneous in the arm. You have to rotate the site of your injection in the arm, in the thigh. You can do it in the belly. And another kind of insulin now is like a pen. All you have to do is to put the needle here, and then it depends on how much insulin you're going to give yourself. this is the part, like there's a two units. It depends on your parameters. 4 units, and then you just inject it to yourself like this. But it has to have a needle here, and you inject like that.
Here are some tips for teachers in a general education classroom. Number 1. Every student with diabetes is different. It's important to remember that they have different symptoms of low blood sugar. Although many of the symptoms may be similar, they will not always be the same. Situations that can affect your student's blood sugar are insulin, food intake, exercise, illness, stress, and/or any change in routine. As soon as you get to know your student's unique individuality and the typical reactions to low blood sugar, it will make things easier. Number 2, don't draw unnecessary attention to your student's condition. Your students with diabetes may have to eat snacks periodically in the classroom. In addition to your student's designated snack time, remember that he or she must eat whenever they feel low. This is extremely imperative to them. This is not a choice for the child with diabetes, but is a necessity. Number 3, provide inconspicuous and gentle reminders. Pay close attention to your student's regular snack time. Not all children can tell time or are going to remember their snack time. If you haven't noticed them eating, pass them a note or work out a special password between the two of you. Number 4, do not put a label on the student with diabetes. Never ever single out a child with diabetes as a diabetic kid. First and foremost, the child with diabetes needs and wants to feel unique and special, just like every other student in your classroom. Number 5, do not sympathize, empathize. A child with diabetes does not want or need your sympathy. These children need understanding, acceptance, and support. Number 6, always be prepared. Always carry a quick and portable snack whenever you and your student with diabetes leave the classroom or the school ground. This is especially important during fire drills, earthquake drills, field trips, special presentations, and/or assemblies. A small can of juice together with crackers may work best. Number 7, use the buddy system. If your student with diabetes tells you he or she is feeling low, then give the student a quick-acting carbohydrate snack such as fruit juice, regular soda, or glucose tabs. If your student needs to see the nurse, always send a buddy, someone who won't object, with them. Never leave a child alone or sent anywhere alone when experiencing low blood sugar. Number 8, allow unrestricted bathroom breaks. When given the opportunity, let the child with diabetes know that it's okay to use the bathroom whenever necessary and have a water bottle when blood sugar is high. If the blood sugar is running high and their body's natural response is to eliminate the extra glucose by using the bathroom, let them. Don't make them feel embarrassed or having to ask you permission every time they need to use it. Number 9, be patient. Be patient if the student with diabetes has minor problems with organization. High and/or low blood sugar levels may make it difficult for them to concentrate at times. You may have to repeat some things, especially if they've been to the nurse's office during that class time. Number 10, keep the lines of communications open. Always work as a team with the student, caregiver, school nurse, and other educators. If there's a special school party or occasion where treats are to be served, let the family know in advance. Number 11, knowledge is power. Learn as much as you can about diabetes in children. Consider completing a training to enable you to perform essential key diabetes care tasks such as blood glucose monitoring and insulin and glycogen administration. Your willingness to learn about diabetes and being prepared to perform care tasks or provide supervision as necessary will ensure a safe classroom environment and enable your student to attain optimal academic performances. Resources are important to research for all participants when dealing with children. Teachers who aim to truly assist a child and their family in combating their child's disability should naturally go beyond limits to do so. Whether that involves taking the time to Google or read a few articles on that specific disability to build upon your knowledge, it will only help you as a teacher and your students, which is the most important thing. The first resource I've mentioned is the Southern Jersey Diabetics Outreach and Education Services. It's actually the first program of its kind in New Jersey and is a statewide model. It works to increase public awareness in hopes of assisting the diabetic community in controlling their levels and its complications. It helps to provide information, materials, and training, and it partners up with community resources to strengthen the intervention process. It specifically targets 5 southern Jersey communities, including Atlantic, Cape May, Cumberland, Salem, and Ocean counties. Resource 2. Children with Diabetes. It's an online community. Since being diagnosed with diabetes can be such a life-changing event, it's important to express yourself freely and not to keep everything to yourself. Along with raising a child is an exciting journey, it can be more demanding when combating a chronic illness such as diabetes. Children with Diabetes is actually an Ohio-based nonprofit organization which is dedicated to helping families with type 1 diabetes. Since it is an online community, it's an outlet for everyone who needs to feel heard. It's the perfect place for questions and answers, as well as emotional support and finding out services that you probably never even heard of, or even just talking to other parents that can probably relate to you that other parents can't who don't have children with diabetes. After all, the most important thing to do and remember each and every day is that you are not alone in this journey of yours. Resource 3 is from Stanford Medicine, which is located in California. I was researching the different types of programs possible for teachers or anyone interested in learning more about diabetes itself, and I found out that there is a workshop that gives 2.5 hours once a week for 6 weeks in community settings such as churches, community centers, libraries, and hospitals. And the people that are actually facilitating the program are 2 trained leaders, one or both who are peer leaders with diabetes themselves. The program originally was developed in Spanish, and after successful outcomes were found with that program, the Stanford Patient Education Research Program received a grant from California Healthcare Foundation for that randomized controlled study to test the workshop's effectiveness for English speakers, which was completed in 2008. And after 6 months after the workshop, it improved in depression, symptoms of hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, communication with physicians, healthy eating, and reading food labels. Resource 4. American Diabetes Association actually has training resources specifically designed for educational staff to provide the needed care to students with diabetes. I have also provided the email address and phone number to contact the organization if you want to learn more. The program that I saw was called Diabetes Care Task at School, What Key Personnel Need to Know. It's actually a 13 PowerPoint module with online training curriculum designed to train the staff. It's great for a first time or even just a reminder. The second one is Helping a Student with Diabetes Succeed, a guide for school personnel. This is also a free guide created by the National Diabetes Education Program. It is a partnership between the National Institutes of Health, the CDC, and over 200 organizations. It highlights the needs of the students, routines, and emergency diabetes needs throughout the school day. There's also a list of the state diabetes resources where it highlights the specific guidelines and resources and materials for each state school. And lastly, there are tips to help teachers keep kids with diabetes safe at school. The PowerPoint talks about informing teachers and how to keep kids safe, as well as the school nurses and the parents, and how to work together as a team to really ensure that the student is not only succeeding in his medical prognosis, but in his school as well. Resource 5, the YMCA Diabetes Prevention Program. It is designed typically for people who are developing type 2 diabetes, but it is also open to people who are just interested in learning. You can reduce your diabetes risk and gain tools for healthy living through the YMCA Diabetes Program, because it is part of the CDC-led National Diabetes Prevention Program as well. CDC is Centers for Disease Control. The program is in a classroom setting, and it has a trained lifestyle coach which will help you change your lifestyle by learning about healthy eating, physical activity, and other behavior changes over a course of 16 one-hour sessions. After the initial 16 core sessions, you will meet monthly for an added support to maintain your progress. And the topics that would be covered would be healthy eating, getting started with physical activity, overcoming stress, staying motivated, and many, many more. The overall goal for the program is to reduce body weight by 7% and increase physical activity to at least 150 minutes per week.